Good evening and welcome to another episode of Thriving Together. I'm LaRonda Scott with eXp Realty, and I am super excited to be joined this evening by none other than Miss Flo Jacques, Flo Luxury Estates, Flo the Realtor, number two on the leaderboard. Hey Flo, how are you doing? How you
Uh,
doing, girl?
Girl, just doing, just doing. But I'm here with you because I love watching your Thriving Thursdays. I've gotten so much good nuggets from the guest speakers that you've had, and so I'm like, oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, I'm so glad. But I'm going to tell you, people are going to be taking nuggets away from you. And I have just been, as they say, chomping at the bit to get you on and just to share your story because, Chick, you got a story.
Yes, well, a lot of us do, right? And so we serve to inspire each other.
We do. We do. So tell the people a little bit about yourself and then we're going to dig in some.
Well, I want to start with the most exciting thing, which is LaRonda was my realtor.
I was.
I was so fortunate to have you help me purchase my very first home. I think we closed after I had turned 22, but I started at 21 in my last
Mhm.
of undergrad. And so I think one of the most memorable experiences for me during that journey was your, consideration to offer me, something that I never thought about or a lot of people don't know about unless you have a really good realtor, like the down payment assistance program thing, right? And so although I had a good chunk of savings, which is what made me consider buying, I think just asking that, nobody told me about it, but having a realtor that kind of opened that door helped me keep more money in my pocket, and take advantage of that resource. So yeah, and yeah, I purchased that first home at 22, and I remember saying like, I want to invest in real estate. I want to fix and flip homes. And I think I kind of got lost a bit on the way because I got my license thinking I was going to help other people do the same thing. And eventually I was kind of like, just trying to do the business, trying to do the industry, trying to help people. But then I realized that we all, as real estate agents or people in the real estate industry, have our own identities, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Some are, they have their niche, they find their niche, and it took me a while to find my niche. And honestly, I still think that niche is developing. It's only been 2 years, almost 3 years. Like it's still developing. And so I've officially kind of gone through something over the summer where I went back to the main reason why I started real estate, which was to invest. And so, yeah, I mean, long drawn out introduction, but yeah.
No, I love that you went that route because again, you said, you feel like it's still developer, but you're going back to why you got started with the fix and flip because the lessons that you're going to be learning and with these investments that you have, the experiences and the connections, it's all going to lead to the ultimate goal of developing. But I need to back up though. I just want to know, did you guys hear how old she was when she started the journey of purchasing her house? So the first thing I want to do is give a shout out to Marquise McGee, because Marquise was the person that actually referred Flo to me. And Flo will tell you referrals is the ultimate compliment that someone can give us. So Marquise referred Flo to me and he let me know that she was graduating from college, but she wanted to buy a house. And I don't know if you remember the first thing I told you, Flo, after we met and talked, and I said, I wish my mind had been where yours was when I was in college. So, what inspired you to prepare, even in college, to purchase a house after you graduated?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I thought about Marquise because I was like, oh yeah, we got here because of my college advisor, who was not even at my college anymore. He had moved over to James Madison University, but yes, got to give him that shout out. But you know what, LaRonda, this is the part. If you know, like, to know me is to know, or to know my inspirations and everything that drives me is to understand who I am really.
Mhm.
And at the center of everything, you know, everything. And that simple answer to that question is God, because I never had any plans or thoughts to purchase a home until that last semester. I was saving money because I was saving money, you know, like, and I think eventually this wisdom, this spirit had moved me. And it was like, oh, I have this much money in savings. Why don't I buy a house instead? Literally.
Instead of renting, because a lot of people would have come out, I'm gonna start my life, get my career going, and rent.
Hmm. Absolutely. And at that time, nobody told me anything. And that's my story to this day. Like, nobody ever said, Flo, you should buy a home. Everything that I do is literally God giving me wisdom, directing me, because no one tells you these things. At least not from the family I come from. My mom doesn't even speak English. You
Mhm.
know, like, I just tell her everything and she's just cheering me on, you know? So, yeah. And honestly, when I think back to it, I couldn't afford to rent. And that's the thing. That's the thing a lot of people are going through. And that's like, if I really want to tell people my story, it's like, I purchased a home because I couldn't afford to rent. At
So
that
why
time,
couldn't you? Break it down for them. Break it down for them. Why couldn't you afford to rent?
my first job out of college, which I still do, but just make a little bit more money now, it was college admissions for my alma mater, right?
Mhm.
And I was making $35,000 a year, which came out to about $2,100 or $2,200 per month after taxes, right? And so that being said, you know, these rent rules where you need to make 3 times the monthly rent, like, you need to qualify for, you know, my credit was excellent, you know, but my income was not supporting that I could afford the average rent in the Raleigh Durham market. Right. And so, according to that 3 times per month rent rule, whatever that rule is, the most I could afford was $900 a month. Where am I going to find a home, an apartment, or whatever at $900 a month by myself without getting a roommate? You know. And so, honestly, I was already down the buying a home path. The math reality came afterward. You know.
Mhm.
So thank God it worked out that way anyway. But yeah, sometimes you buy a home because you can't afford to rent, because you got to fit these rules. And then, but you could actually buy a home if you have the savings, if you have the credit, if you have a realtor like LaRonda who can
Or now Flo.
tell you, or, you know, who can tell you all these down payment assistance programs, um, because that's the way to go. You know, and honestly, my mortgage was less than, you know, the average rent. The average rent's about like $1,200, $1,300 a month, really, if you want to live by yourself. My first mortgage was $700 a month. You know, uh,
How much?
702, and actually, mortgage was actually $689 a month. And so I know a couple of people who paid that a mortgage for their first home, depending on how much.
Uh-oh. And we're having an issue now with sound, and I think it's because of my background noise. So I'm gonna mute myself. So if I'm quiet, just know why.
Um,
But you were saying, or what you were talking about, you were talking about your monthly rent. I mean, your monthly mortgage being cheaper than rent.
yes. Yeah. So and it worked out that way. It doesn't always work out that way. I know a lot of people are like, I think it's like a common saying that you should buy a home because it's going to be cheaper than rent. It's not guaranteed, especially with fluctuating interest rates, increased tax rates, and homeowners insurance rates. You know, that's not always the case, because I mean, I just bought my second home and my mortgage payment doubled. You know, it doubled, and more than doubled actually. But that's okay, because I knew what I was buying. I knew I wanted to live in a certain city with a certain level of, you know what I mean? So I was,
Mhm.
and so what I'm paying right now for a mortgage, honestly, a lot of people are paying that in rent, but guess what? I'm building equity.
Yes, you are. And the thing is, okay, so you're like in this instance, because everybody's home buying journey is different. It is truly not cookie cutter. It just isn't. Because people bring their own profile. So you had your own financial profile. You knew what you were willing to do, what you were looking for in a starter home. But then you were able to sell that. You built equity in your first home. You were able to profit from your first home and roll that into your second home. And like you said, yeah, your mortgage a little bit more than doubled, but you knew what you were going into because there was a particular place you wanted to be. So where you are now it happened because of where you started from and you took that initial step.
Absolutely. Is 100% true. And my mom always said that. So you were giving me some flashbacks of my mom right there because, sometimes like, I did not want to live in the neighborhood I landed in, and, but the thing is, like, it was good enough. It was good enough. It was affordable mortgage payment. I was building equity. Um, it's in the past, so dare I talk about the numbers. I purchased that home, and after 2.5, almost 3 years of living in it, I sold that home and walked away with about 80 plus $1,000 of profit. Right? I just made that ugly face there trying to remember the numbers. But that's money that you can't save. And that's what I always tell people. You can't save that amount of money in that short period of time, right? And so that's the difference between building equity versus you're paying rent because all the hundreds of different excuses we hear daily from rent ready to buy yet. Okay, don't buy yet. I'll be your landlord.
There you go. And she is not joking because she's gone from, just like the title of the show, she's gone from owner to investor because not only have you purchased your second property, now you are currently rehabbing what, two investment properties?
Yes,
At how
two
old? How
properties.
old are you again?
I'm a toddler. Okay. I'll be 26 in like what, 1.5 months? Yeah, 1.5. Yeah, that period. Yeah, December 8th, 2024. I'll be 26. I wish I could be 25 forever, but maybe I'll be 26 forever.
Okay, whatever works for you. I guess I'm gonna hold on to 49 so I don't hit 50.
Yes. I did purchase my first investment properties. Honestly, these first two within a month of each other. And so this is what I was alluding to earlier, as far as like, you get into the real estate industry and you are trying to figure out who am I? What is my niche? Like, some people, they go into the luxury industry and everybody wants, I mean, raise your hand if you're a realtor and you don't want to be in the luxury real estate industry. Okay. We all want to make a $50,000 commission with just one home, right?
Right, right. $50,000 commission and go sit down somewhere. At least, and that's why people get into the business. They think it's quick money and it's quick and easy money. Is it, Flo?
It's not. It's not. A lot of people spend how many months without a sale, and getting luxury leads is not the same as getting a first time home buyer lead. You can throw something and you'll hit somebody who wants to purchase a home. But throw something up, see how many people it hits that actually can afford a $2 million, $3 million home. So, there's the luxury niche, there's the investor niche, people who work with just investors. There's so many different things. And like I said, we all are trying to find our way, like what makes sense for us. And some of us have no idea. And then others like me, I just was doing what worked, which was the first time home buyers, helping out renting. And then eventually I kind of fell into like an emotional spiral of a crisis where I just felt like I didn't want to do this chase anymore, right? This hustle and bustle of finding the next lead to generate the next commission. I was tired of it. Also, because I'm dual careered, I work a full-time job,
Yes, you do. Y'all, when I tell you this girl holds it down, I am not joking. You would never know that she has a full-time job with everything else that and that she accomplishes in a day. Oh, wait a minute. Full-time job, real estate agent, investor, and you just got your graduate degree?
Yes, that the master's degree, which was like, sometimes I think back to that, I'm like, I must have been on drugs or something because
No. If vision was a person, it is Flo Jacques. If persistence was a person, it is Flo Jacques. You are all those things. And I don't know if I've ever told you or not, but I think about you and what you've accomplished, and just again, what your vision is, and how you don't just talk about a thing, you do a thing. It really excites me. And it's almost like I'm your mama. I can't tell you how proud I am of you and what you've done. Your ears, as the seasoned people say, your ears should be burning often, because I carry your name into a lot of different rooms, because I just want people to know just how you have been excelled. You said you wanted to make something happen, and you've done it. Matter of fact, I did it last night. I carried your name into the room for the Real Estate Investors Association meeting, and y'all will be doggone if I don't look up and there she is. So I told the woman next to me, I said, "Well, there she is right there. That's exactly who I was talking about."
yeah. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know. I think I love being around people who are about what they say. Recently some of my sessions in therapy have been about, like, pain and poverty and the places we come from, and how that typically motivates us, to go after something so far from what we knew. Um, and I come from a family of immigrants, and from the Caribbean, and we knew that life in the US was gold, right? And going to college was not an option, at least for me. Yeah, going to college was not an option. Like, you had, like, as in, like, you had to go, there was no other way. And so as I got older, I like to say that I must have been wealthy in my past life, because from a very young age, I would say late teens, early 20s, I was just obsessed with anything money, credit related. Right. And so I think the biggest pitfall of, not building wealth and not pursuing our goals and making life happen for us is a complete direct result of lack of education,
Mhm.
and some people just struggle with motivation. That's a whole other issue for another day, But when you're literate, you understand what you're doing. And so from a very young age, I knew about credit cards. I always say I've never had a bad credit score, except from the first day I realized I didn't have a credit score, right? Because when you know what you're doing, it serves in your best interests. And that's why I was saving money in college. Like I
Mhm.
end goal when I started saving. I just knew that it felt better to have money than to not have money, because I know what it's like to not have money.
Right. But the thing that I want to point out too is she said that she became obsessed with credit and credit cards, but her obsession was learning it. Learning about the power of credit, and the power of credit cards, and how to use and how to make your money work for you. That's the difference between being obsessed with credit cards. Well, maybe obsessed with swiping a credit card. There's a difference.
Yeah, very big difference. Yeah, that's true. True. Yeah, my obsession was learning. I was and it wasn't even just credit cards. It was about money. I can't even remember these people's names. Like I said, it was so many years ago, and the people that I watch and listen to have evolved over the years. But this guy who, he grew up like middle class or something like that, and he ended up buying a home, like the home that his family used to live in the same neighborhood that's like $1 million now in California. And they would talk about, like, by a certain age, this is how much money you should have, by a certain age, this is how much wealth you should build, this, like, it was just like basics of finance and that sort of stuff. My undergrad degree is in sociology. And so I'm like, should I have gone for business? No, I don't. I'm not great at math. No, I'm just not. But yeah, it's that, and so for me, like, it's just learning the ropes and going after it. And now I'm like at this phase where I'm like, okay, it's the investing thing, right? That saying they say, if you don't learn how to make money in your sleep, you'll work to the day you die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to work to the day I die. I don't even want to work past 55. you know, like if I work, I'm like maybe because for fun, but like not because I have to. So that's what like was like, okay, we got to figure out how to make money while we sleep or passively or whatever it is. And the whole investing thing started getting into motion.
Right. And that's the thing, making money while you sleep. Passive income is truly money that's coming in that you're not having to work for. And that's really the key to wealth, because you look at what 90% of those that are wealthy, when you look at their portfolios, real estate is in there. They have made investments in real estate, and that's how they got there. That's how they sustain their wealth. I hope you don't mind, but thriving together is about helping people thrive in a lot of different ways. And again, if you haven't inspired people already, their sleep. I don't even know what to say about it. But you were very open just a second ago, and you talked about, you said in therapy what therapy is about.
Mhm.
And a lot of people, in our community, there's like, there's a stigma, there's a certain thing, reason why people go to therapy. But we go to therapy because you take care of your body. Why aren't you taking care of your mind? And I love that you put that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason I had brought that up is because much of like my therapist is saying a lot of what you're saying, like, Flo, every single time we meet, there's like something fast and exciting happening in your life. And that keeps me engaged with like, but also, we ended up diving into this conversation of pain being a motivator, right? Poverty being a motivator. And so a lot of the things that I experienced younger, like by the time I graduated high school, I went to 9 different schools. And so I lived with so many different family members before I, landed
Mhm.
where I landed last, which is here in North Carolina, and then became an adult and took care of myself. And so all of these things that kind of that you experience as a child, between scarcity and people who are not able to deliver because of lack of funds or chaos in their own lives, but they're your family or things like that. It kind of forced, for me, I took all of that to mean I can make it different when I become
Yeah.
because I know there are a lot of people who they just repeat the same cycle, right? But for me, I was like, I'm not. If there's a way to get out of it, I'm going to figure out how to get out of it, because I don't want to repeat the same cycle. And so, yeah, I think therapy has been very helpful with digesting and processing that. And having a better understanding of like why I am who I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Because again, it is always a hope that everyone, like I saw not too long ago on Facebook, a friend of mine posted that everyone has a story, or even a sad story. And it either motivates you or you sit in it and basically let it swallow you up. And like you said, you've used it to motivate you. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So you have to move differently. And you've got to be a part of, what is it, that 5% of people, that are motivated by circumstances, or motivated by who they want to become. So, again, sis, I congratulate you on all of it. So now I'm just peeling back the onion of all things Flo. So we've gone first time home buyer at 21, buying our second primary residence, investing, got got your master's, but then you also got your real estate license, and you were number 2 on the Wealthy Group leaderboard for September, girl.
Yes, yeah. Well, um, that is always just like a, did I really? Especially number two morning, and I was like, number two. Yeah, I think I don't even. I'm just speechless, honestly. And again, I have to just give all the glory to God, like for that piece right there, because this year's been a weird year. You know, just a complete weirdo. She is a complete. You know how we always get towards the end of the year and we're like, we're ready for 2024 to get out.
Really?
We're ready, okay, and we're claiming prosperity. But the thing is, like, um, interest rates started going up since last year, and the market started going, very slow for a lot of people. And so you can turn around and speak to every agent, and the majority of people are going to tell you it's been a weird year, slow year. People who've been in the industry for 20 plus years, and I've spoken to them, and given that this is my what second year, because yes, and so I'm kind of like, okay, learning the differences between how interest rates are impacting activity. But we hear all the time like people are still buying. So I adopt that, and I know that people are still buying, people are still selling. And so the year started off pretty slow. I think I closed 2 earlier in the year. And we went to that conference, and conferences motivate me because I'm spending money and I'm there to get more information on how to grow my business,
Yeah.
right?
And like you said, you're around people that are like-minded and hustling and get, where you want to be.
Exactly. And I think one of the key things, I'm telling you my secret here, and listen, whoever's listening, receive it, don't receive it, but I'm telling you, there is power in the name, and prayer changes things. And some things that you go through, including slow activity in your business, health issues, whatever it is that you're experiencing, sometimes it is God calling out a fervent prayer within you. And when I got to July and I assessed how the year has been going between my spending, all the investments that I had made in trying to grow my business and all this stuff, and not really seeing a lot of fruit come back to it. After I came back from that conference, I said, I'm going into a 24-hour fast. And so I fasted the day, like I got back from that and I went into prayer and fasting. And girl, that from then on, everything turned around. People calling me, giving me a referral from the NAREP directory. Like
Beautiful.
another state saw your name in the directory. I know we're a part of the same network. There's somebody who's ready. There's that one. The listing that I had on the market for 9 months, I call it the pregnancy listing because it literally. That one, thank God. Like, it was supposed to close October 9th. Lord, God turned it all around and it closed 30 days earlier, right? That was all in September. My investor client who I started working with last December, we didn't win the bid. We took a look at some things again, blah, blah, blah. We went under contract for 3 properties together, like a package. We ended up passing on one of them, so we closed on 2. So it's like everything started moving in the activity, because sometimes the fact of the matter is you're experiencing a blockage. You're experiencing business, you're experiencing a blockage in your financial increase, a blockage in your, relationships, in your job opportunities, in your prosperity. Sometimes it's a mountain that needs to be moved. And the only way to tackle that is prayer. And so this is, we say, talking about therapy is vulnerable. That right there is vulnerable, because I know the world that is today.
I mean, it is, but you know what? You cannot ignore and push aside where your blessings come from.
Exactly. Like, it's my truth. It's literally the truth. So, with seeing myself as number 2 on that leaderboard, I was going after it anyway, but I said to myself, Lord, I'm coming back from this conference. I've invested the money. I've invested the time. I need to see momentum. I need to see fruit. Just because the year started the way it did does not mean it needs to end that way. And now here we are, you know?
There you go. Faith without works is dead. So again, you have that faith. You have that unmovable faith. But you were like, okay, I need to come in and I need to channel. You did your fast, but then you also kept doing the work that went along with it. And you just didn't say, well, let me throw up a prayer, let me fast a little bit, and here it comes. No, you did the work that came along with it. So again, I cannot, as they say, give people their flowers. I am giving you bouquets of flowers, girl, because yes, yes, because I'm so excited for you and the things that will come. And you do such a great job in terms of with networking and meeting people and connecting the dots with people. And that's just huge in and of itself when it comes to being successful in business or even in life. Because as you're networking and getting to know people, again, you're creating relationships where people are taking your name in the room. So you just never know who's going to give you a call next.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm continuing to work on that and being better at that, because I don't feel like I'm great at that yet. Let me tell you this phenomenon. We went to that NCRIA meeting last night, and I was just like, some people I recognize, some people I already spoke to, connected with. It's like it feels very natural for me to connect with these people, right? I don't know, maybe it's because of this new exciting thing in my life, which is the investing world, and how it makes sense to me, and I get it, and it's not, so I'm not uncomfortable networking with people. But going to some of the conferences I've gone to, or some of these, they have these rock star connections locally where you get to connect with other people, in the business. And those are uncomfortable for me. The introverted extrovert, I'm that person. More so introvert if I don't know the people, And so I remember going to the one recently a couple weeks ago, and I get there and I'm like not in the mood to network. It just feels forced. I don't know if it's because it's not my audience of people.
Mhm.
So uncomfortable, and I decided to sit out. It was draining me, and eventually I was like, all right, gotta go, and I left. I don't make good use of those things, um but and even with the conference that I went to, I pushed, but like I didn't really build solid relationships and connections, so that's why I'm like, I'm working on that. But that RIA meeting, it just comes natural, and I'm like, yeah, I remember you, like exchange information. I don't
You
know.
were in your element. You were definitely in your element. And it's funny, I was telling one of the ladies at the table before I came, because I'm like you, and there's some people who will watch this and say there's no way there's an ounce of you as an introvert, but I'm an introvert extrovert. And the last meeting before last I went to, I came in and I took a seat at an empty table. I didn't go to a table with people there. I took a seat at an empty table. I'm here to listen to the speaker. But this time I had to do some self talk on the way in. You are going to sit with some folks. You are going to introduce yourself. You're going to have some fruitful conversations while you're here. Otherwise, stay at home.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You got to make good use of them, because from those connections, like, I mean, I knew why I was there, but from those connections, like, they are people we are now working with. Like, I found my contractor that's working on my first flip from that connection. He gave me
Mhm.
a card, kept it, got it, so got under the contract for that property. Called him, hey, come and give me a quote. You need multiple people. And by the way, I couldn't have him work on that and the duplex. Like, I need somebody else working on that, because time is money, literally. Literally, because like today's the 16th, blink once and it's November 1st, and I got 3 mortgage payments. Okay. So I need to divide and conquer so that
Right.
projects are progressing for me to be able to get to the next step, you
Mhm.
know? So yeah, you got to network with multiple people, get different people's numbers, and that sort of stuff, because you're going to need them.
Right. You are. And you never know when, but you need to go ahead and establish those relationships, cultivate those relationships, because you never know when that time comes around. Well, Flo, I want to thank you because I know you have another engagement you have got to get to, so I don't want to hold you up. But is there any last words, anything you want to share with folks before we cut out?
I see. I did not prepare for this one, but I'm going to say whatever comes to mind. Whatever you want in life, you can absolutely achieve it. I think a lot of what I think it's surreal seeing where I'm at right now. I'm so excited about what life is going to look like in 5 years, because whatever I desire, put it before God, achieve your goals. Just if you take action, there's just no way it's not going to happen. When you don't take action and you're just talking about it, that's where it stops. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I want to leave with people here. Just take action. Stop sleeping. Stop sitting down. Like wake up, because I always said this. I've said this since I was in high school, and I still say this to this day. Don't hate the players or the game. Learn how to play the game.
I love it. Though you didn't prepare for it, but you hit it. That was on target, on point. Well, ladies, gentlemen, folks, I have Flo's information at the bottom. She and I have the pleasure of being a part of a collective here in the Triangle area. We are both with eXp Realty. And when I tell you we have a passion for helping people achieve generational wealth through the ownership of real property, I am not joking. So Flo's information is here on the screen. Please reach out to her. She's Durham County and beyond, Wake County, all over the place. And she can help you reach those real estate goals. I'm going to share my information as well because, again, she and I are helping motivated buyers and sellers, whether you are primary residents or investing, to help you achieve generational wealth. And we can help you get there. So, Flo, thank you so much for being with me. I'm gonna have to bring you back on another topic because there was a couple things we could have done a deep dive in, but that's going to be part two.
Absolutely. We'll do it.
All right. Have a great evening.
See you. Bye.